lip balm. This is my Summer Fridays lip butter balm in the shade Vanilla Beige, or Flavor Vanilla Beige, I guess. I have been using this for probably like 2 years now, and there is really not that much left. So I'm kind of enjoying the last remnants of it before it goes in my empties pile, because I'm literally squeezing the like final uses of it out today, and it's kind of the end of an era. And speaking about end of eras, today I'm talking about what happened after the end of an era. So, as you may have seen, my last podcast episode, or my first podcast episode, I should say, was about why I quit cheerleading. And if you want to know why I quit cheerleading, you can check out that episode. But I kind of will allude to it in this episode as well a bit. But yeah, check out my last episode if you're interested in why I quit cheerleading. Today's episode is going to be about life after cheerleading. Because you know what? There is life after cheer. If you're an athlete or a participant in a sport that matters a lot to you, it may seem really daunting to leave the sport when the time comes for whatever reason that you might be leaving. But I'm here to say that there is life after cheerleading, which, I don't know, you could translate that into your sports language. Maybe there's life after basketball. I don't know. Anyway, I always kind of feared the end of cheer because I loved cheer so much, and it was such a huge part of my life. I was literally cheering on, I don't know, 2 different teams, maybe like 3 times a week at least, but I would sometimes go into the gym more than that just to hang out, or to do some additional stunt training, or to see friends, or for whatever reason. And so cheer was a huge, huge part of my life. And I was kind of scared to leave because what does life look like after cheer? Cheer brought me fitness, it brought me friendship, it brought me purpose, it taught me so many new skills, and it was part of my routine. And so I kind of was scared to leave the sport because I didn't know what my life would look like without it. I'd been doing it for 5, almost 6 years now. And it was so much a part of who I was. Cheer is a huge part of my identity. You know, I am a cheerleader. It's who I am. It's like something that takes up so much of my time. And so many of my conversations revolved just around cheer as a topic. Many of you guys found my channel through my cheerleading videos. And so thanks for hanging around, because I haven't really talked about cheer in kind of a while. Yeah. Cheer is so important to me, and I no longer do it. But there is life after cheer. I've honestly enjoyed so many parts of my life after cheer thanks to cheer, and thanks to my friends from cheer. I don't feel like I have gone cold turkey from cheerleading. There is life after cheerleading, but I would like to put it out there that I'm still in contact with the cheer world. So I think that if you went cold turkey, or you left for a negative reason from your sport for whatever, you know, happened, it might be a different experience. But because I left because of my own reasons, personal reasons, I still am in contact with the sport in many ways. I still go to competitions to cheer on my friends who are still in the sport. I still go to nationals every year, which I'll talk about in a bit. And I still see my friends from cheerleading in cheer and outside of cheer contexts. So yeah, I go to competitions as much as I can. I don't, you know, clear my work schedule. If it's not going to work out and I'm working that day, or if my shift doesn't line up with when the competition date is and my friends are on the mat when I'm at work, you know, sometimes I do miss out. I'm not going to like totally revolve my life around watching cheer. But I do, you know, make an effort where I can to go cheer my friends on. Is that because of my love of the sport, or is that because of my love for my friends? It's honestly more for my love of my friends. I think that I care about my friends more than their routines at this point, because our friendships have surpassed sports friendships. They are now just friendships. And, you know, I'll use, I don't know, Laura as an example. You guys have met Laura before. I don't think of Laura as, Laura, my friend from cheer. I just think of Laura. And then if someone asks, I'm like, oh, we met at cheer. Yeah, that was so much fun. Like, that's kind of how I frame it in my mind these days. And so, yeah, I might go and cheer on Maple at her cheerleading competition, but I don't think of Maple as just a cheer friend. Maple is my friend, and I happen to have met her through cheer, which I'm so grateful for. So yeah, I do still see competitions. At competitions, life after cheer, it can be a bit difficult at times because comps are kind of like the most hype part to me. It's crunch time. It's the performance. It's the show. It's the razzle dazzle. Everyone looks amazing in their costumes. They're showing off their skills. All their skills look incredible. Everyone's there. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Everyone's friends. Everyone's cheering on their rivals and the other teams. And you're rooting for the people that are actually going to beat you, or you're rooting for the people who fell last time and you want to see them do better this time, and all these different things going on. It's so fun. I love it. And so it can be really difficult going to a competition because you're surrounding yourself with that world again, and you're kind of exposing yourself to like almost just the best bit of it. Sometimes it can be the worst bit of it as well. If someone falls, I really feel for them, and I hate watching them fall. Even now when I don't even compete, I hate watching people fall because I know that feeling, and it's the worst. So yeah, you're kind of exposing yourself to the sport if you go to competitions or engage at places where it's still happening. And I feel like that's the most difficult time for me, is when I'm going to cheer my friends on in that way. And I do put myself in that situation because I'm rooting for them as my friends. But then it does put me in a position with my relationship to the sport, because I have to see other people doing the sport and doing what I love and am now forcing myself to miss out on. But I think that what has helped me with that, because previously I've seen people do competitions, it's given me FOMO, and I've retried out, aka for the 2022 season I rejoined Swifts for this reason, I think. But being certain in your retirement and being sure that you are satisfied to stay retired, and having confidence in your retirement choices, these are the things that keep me retired. I'm certain that cheerleading no longer fits into my current lifestyle, and so when I see these things and I think, oh my gosh, that looks so much fun, I'd do anything to be back in those shoes, I think, no, actually I would not trade my current life to be in those shoes, because I'm now moved on into a new stage of my life where cheerleading no longer fits. I'm not saying it's bad to go back or anything. I'm not trying to be like anti-return to cheer. Just for someone like myself who is trying to not go back to cheer because it literally does not fit into my life. I have to tell myself these things to be satisfied, and I am. These are the truths, and the truths are that I am satisfied, and that my time at cheer has quite practically come to an end, and there is no more for me in this sport. I'm sure if I rejoined a cheer team, there would be more for me, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. I really got what I was looking for, is what I mean. But yeah, I think that that's the most difficult time. I still go to nationals each year. So last year I went to the Gold Coast for Cheer Nationals 2024, and that was an incredible trip. I kind of saw that as partially a cheer trip to cheer on my cheer friends, but also as a holiday. I loved going to the Gold Coast. I liked sitting on the beach, enjoying the sun, doing all the touristy things that previously when I was in the Gold Coast for cheer, I wouldn't have had the time to do. I wouldn't have previously had the time to go to Dracula's show and watch I don't know, like burlesque or whatever it is that happens at Flamingos. That's so fun. Shop the way that I was able to shop, wander around, explore. I don't know, I did so many things. We went on the slingshot, and yes, you're able to do a lot of Gold Coast attractions when you're in the Gold Coast for Cheer Nationals, but because I wasn't competing myself, I was able to just have a holiday. I didn't have to worry about going to cheer on every single team, because I was just cheering on for my friends, and then I would, I didn't even have to cheer on every single one of my friends in every single one of their routines. I just hang out at when I wanted to, and then I could go off and do my own holiday when I wanted to. And it was a really good balance between cheer and enjoying my own holiday for me. And so that was a really enjoyable experience. And if anyone's missing being involved in the sport in competition sense, you can go as a spectator. I've been enjoying going to cheer competitions as a spectator recently, in the past 2 going on 3 years now, and I've enjoyed it. I find satisfaction in a new way as well, from watching my friends compete and watching them go through their journeys at cheer. Rooting for people and watching their progression has been really rewarding. But yeah, you just kind of got to balance it with your own realistic situation of whether or not this is pulling you in too much. And, you know, for some people, I can imagine, and I've spoken to people that feel this way, that like going to a competition is too difficult or exposes them to too much feelings about cheer that make them miss it too much. And, you know, if that's for you, I totally understand, because it is really difficult to go to those comps and not go, oh my gosh, I wish I could go back to it. I totally understand. But yeah, going to nationals was a lot of fun for me last year because it was a holiday and I got to experience cheer in some sense without myself being on a team. I was still getting a cheer fix in a sense. I fully intend on going to cheer nationals this year in Melbourne because I haven't done a Melbourne trip in a while. And so I thought, I'll go to cheer nationals in Melbourne, and you betcha I'll be going to cheer nationals in the Gold Coast next year because I want to go to Movie World when the Scooby-Doo ride is working. I'm putting it out there every single time I go to Movie World or I'm in the Gold Coast. The Scooby-Doo ride is down at Movie World, and it's my dream to go on this ride because I've never gone on it. Apparently it's the best ride at Movie World, and yet it eludes me every time I'm there. I somehow miss out because the ride is always down, it's always broken, it's always under maintenance, and I just really want to ride the Scooby-Doo ride. So next year when I go to the Gold Coast, I feel like last year when I was at the Gold Coast, I did majority of like the basic Gold Coast tourist things, so I kind of have ticked off majority of like my list, you know, go to Dracula's, other things that I wanted to do, but when I was cheering, I always had to prioritize cheer, of course, because you're there primarily for the cheer comp, so I didn't get to do a lot of things like Dracula's and all that kind of stuff. You know, you don't want to drink before a comp. I was able to go clubbing every night when I wanted to. I was going out whenever I wanted to because I had no pressure of like, you know, making sure I had the right sleep schedule and taking care of myself before a comp. I could do what I wanted. I was on holidays. And so last year I did majority of those like tourist things that I wanted to do as an adult. But the ones that I didn't do last year, I'll do next year. When I go to Movie World, I'm going to see the Wicked area that's recently opened up, the Wizard of Oz themed area. That's new. I'm excited to see that. And yeah, the Scooby-Doo ride. Those are my main main things that are pulling me into the Gold Coast, but also the beaches and the vibes. And it'll just be relaxing and chill and lovely. And I'll get to watch everyone do their cheer comps and like, you know, help someone with their eyeliner and then watch them go out onto the floor and enjoy the glitz and the glam of it all, but without having to commit to a full season like I used to. I get a holiday and get to watch the show. It's like a holiday with a show. And you know what else I really enjoy, and I'm looking forward to at Melbourne Nationals this year? Something really lovely about going to cheer nationals as a retired cheerleader is that everyone's there. All of my friends are still going to cheer nationals. Not everyone, obviously there are other people that have retired as well, but going to a competition once you've retired and you still have friends in the comp, I get to see them all there. I get to cheer on the whole team, all these people that I know on all these different teams as they've progressed. It's so enjoyable to watch their progression, so enjoyable to meet up with people, to bump into old friends, to make new friends too. It's not like I don't make new friends at these things just because I'm retired. You know, I still meet people and it's still fun. So that enjoyment of friendship hasn't stopped for me from cheer. I still make new cheer friends, even though I'm retired, particularly at competitions and mostly nationals. So I look forward to that every year now until, I don't know, eventually I'd obviously stop going to these, but while, especially my friend Maple, as you've seen her in vlogs, while Maple's still doing cheerleading, I'll go to cheer nationals every year. Thanks, Maple, for letting me be your cheer mum. I feel like I'm like, come on, sweetie, what's your meet time? Like, I feel like I'm that when we go together, and I wouldn't have it any other way, and I don't think Maple would like it any other way either. We love it. But yeah, life after cheerleading has been fun. I've been doing other things other than cheer. I know that was a lot of cheer ramble, but, you know, I've been doing other things. I've been doing a lot more work, obviously, because when I was doing cheer, I was kind of balancing like part-time work with uni, full-time uni to part-time uni, and cheering on and off and all this kind of stuff. Whereas now I'm able to like focus on my career, which is more important to me in this stage of my life. I recently started studying again, so I'm studying my master's full-time, and that's going to help with my career as well. I just kind of have different focuses now. I have more time to spend on my friends, which is something that I didn't even realize how much I was sacrificing at cheer. But when you're at cheer, you're really only, well, for me, I was still seeing my outside of cheer friends. But after cheer, I realized how little I was seeing them in comparison to how much I could have been. Now I see a greater variety of my friends more frequently. When I was at cheer, you know, a lot of time is spent at the gym, a lot of time is spent recovering from the gym, and a lot of time is spent getting to and from the gym. All this kind of stuff, you know, cheer, cheer, cheer. And so it really pushed aside a lot of my relationships to be less frequent visits, if that makes sense. Like, just a random example, Gabby, one of my best friends from high school who you've seen in vlogs before, Gabby's like my bestie. And so like she was totally comfortable while I was doing cheer in our relationship. We're not insecure in our friendship in any way. And so she knew that I was just like, you know, off doing a sport that I loved, and she was always rooting for me and stuff. But I wasn't seeing her as much as I get to see her now. Now that I have stopped doing cheer, I have more time on my plate. And so logistically, I just can see more people. And that includes cheer people as well. I still see cheer people, and I still see them quite frequently. But it meant that I could also see non-cheer friends at a higher frequency as well. So it just kind of made time in different areas of my life, because cheer was taking up so much of my life. Now I had more of my life to give to other things. I know a lot of people after cheer have tried new hobbies. I had a stint where I was going to the gym, like the workout gym, like lifting weights type of gym, because I wanted to do something fitness-wise. That didn't really resonate for me, so I ended up quitting my membership because I just didn't really feel it. I don't know, kind of didn't give me the same team feeling or a sense of accomplishment, I guess, that cheer was giving me previously, and it just didn't really like click for me in that same way. So I discontinued doing like gym workouts. But you know, I tried that for a bit, and I expect fully in the future that I'll try another kind of physical activity again. I found that after cheerleading, it's a lot easier for me to go traveling. During the cheer season, you're committed to a team. You can't leave, you can't skip trainings. So I would never go on holidays during the cheer season, because I'd be loyal to the team and I'd want to go to every single training and go to every single comp, obviously, duh. But now that I don't have a commitment like that, I can go on holidays whenever I want. And obviously, like, you know, considering my work schedule and when I have leave and how much annual leave and finances and all this kind of stuff. But it just gives me the flexibility where I'm not tied to a team for an entire season's worth of the year, where I can't do anything except for work and train and hang out in Sydney. I'm all of a sudden able to drop everything and go to Bali for a week, and that's totally fine to do in the middle of the year, whereas that was not even on the cards when I was doing cheerleading, because I was loyal to the team. And you know, the practicality of it is that if one person is missing, the routine doesn't really go in the same way. You know, you can't really stunt a 4-person stunt group if only 3 people are there. So yeah, it just kind of has given me more travel, which is something I really, really value in my life. And this is another reason why like cheer was no longer logistically practical for me, because my life was pulling me in different directions. I wanted to travel, I wanted to explore, I wanted to work harder on my career and different relationships, and try different sports as well. I see myself trying different sports in the future one day. And I didn't think that that was possible anymore with my lifestyle cheering. So yeah, travel has been really great post cheer. I've loved my new life, my new chapter that I've kind of embarked on after cheer. I moved into a new place. I know that's not really tied to cheer, but kind of at the end of that year of my final year that I did cheerleading, after that I moved into my new place, and I feel like I'm in my new apartment, in my big girl job. I'm kind of in a more adult era of my life, and it feels suitable. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying my priorities and where I'm spending my time now, even though it's not on cheer. I also feel like I had a bit of like a, and this is a bit like, but like a body image crisis after cheer. When I was doing cheer, I'd always had a pretty healthy idea of my body image, and I've always had a very healthy approach to my body image, in that like I just kind of eat what I want, and I eat when I'm hungry, and I fuel my body, and I'm very confident in you know, the way I'm built and all that. I mean, part of that would also tie into like, you know, our society often favors a slim build and stuff, and I've always been built that way, and so I'm privileged in that sense. But after cheer, I did have a little bit of a, I'm not saying existential crisis, but I did question myself in my body image, in a sense that I was a lot more toned when I was a cheerleader, and I lost a lot of that tone when I stopped cheerleading. When I stopped cheerleading as well, I was for a stint working in a community nursing setting where I was seated a lot of the time, and I was eating a lot of really nice going out food. Now that I was able to see all my friends more, I was going out to dinner a lot more, and I was just, I don't know, I feel like my lifestyle had changed so drastically that I did gain a little bit of weight. And that really scared me at the time because, I didn't want to gain all this weight after cheerleading. Oh no. It kind of sent me spiraling when I would compare myself to people that were still continuing in the sport that were a lot smaller than me now, when back when we used to cheer together, we used to be the same size. It kind of made what used to be a very strong body image in my mind. I had a really strong sense of myself and who I was in my body. And then it kind of made me question all of that and who I was in how I saw myself and my physical identity. I hope that makes sense. And so I was a bit lost for a period of time when I didn't know, how I felt in my own skin after cheerleading, when I was losing muscle tone and muscle mass, and gaining a little bit of weight. But I will say that in time after that little moment for me, and it's not like I looked drastically different. Like the average person would look at me and go, yeah, I guess you've changed a little bit, but not that much. But to me, it felt really dramatic because I've always had pretty consistent weight and look about my body. And so I was kind of used to looking and perceiving myself in a certain way and feeling a certain way. And when I looked in the mirror, what had always looked the same was starting to look different. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this aging? Is this because I'm not working out enough? Because I'm not working out at least 3 times a week like I used to when I was doing cheer? Like, what's going on? But then I picked up a different job after my job in community nursing finished, which was like, I was seated for a lot of the time at that job. I then started working in ward nursing again, and I guess just being on my feet and walking around all day and just like different lifestyle changes. Not that I was like doing, radical changes to my lifestyle, but like at that time I was going to the gym again, like to work out like the lifting weights type of like gym, and yeah, just being on my feet and working out more. I guess I kind of lost that weight that I gained after cheer. It was only about like, I know this is a bit like, to put our numbers out there, but it was only about 5 kilos, and that was enough to send me like into a kind of existential crisis. But I do want to be transparent about this because this was something that I did struggle with after cheer. If you are leaving cheer, I do want to put it out there that it is something that you might face, because it's something that I faced, and I'm someone who's very confident and I'd consider myself quite confident and always very sure of my body and myself. And I had a moment there when I was not as confident as I feel like I should have been. But yeah, I went to the gym and I started working at a different workplace where I wasn't seated much. I was walking around more, ward nursing, you're always running and on your feet. And so those, like about 5 kilos ish, I don't really know, kind of disappeared, or I don't know. I don't actually know what my weight is now. I don't really check very frequently. But when I look in the mirror, I look more like myself. I'm not sure if that's just my brain telling me that I look fine now, or I've gotten used to the way that I look now after cheer. If you compared a picture of me right now to when I was cheering, yes, I am less toned, and yes, there is a little bit more fat on me than there was when I was cheering, but it's very minor of a difference, and I'm really not concerned about it at all. I'm still built very slim, and I'm happy with the way that I look. And so yeah, either my body just evened out to look the way that it probably did prior, or my brain just stopped looking in the mirror and hating myself in that way. And so yeah, it worked out in the end. It took me a bit of time, though, I will say. I probably only got confident in my body again maybe a year and a half after quitting cheer. So I've been happy with myself for about a year now, and I've felt comfortable in my skin for over a year, I'd say. But yeah, it took me almost up to a year and a half after cheer. So cheer finishing, then up here is like my weight gained, and then decreasing either in actual weight or in my mind's perception of the weight. decreasing again back to feeling comfortable again. It took me, about a year for that whole thing to happen. A year and a half, sorry. But it was also just something I guess I had to overcome in my leaving of the sport. It was a difficult journey, I will say, but I like who I am now, and when I look in the mirror, I don't look at myself and go, oh my gosh, I've put on so much weight after cheer, or oh my gosh, it's my post-cheer body, oh no. I think that a lot of athletes, not that I'm like the world's most elite athlete or anything, but I think a lot of athletes struggle with, body image and like losing muscle and that kind of stuff after leaving a sport. And so I don't think that this is a rare experience. I think that a lot of people probably experience something similar to this after leaving a sport where they're very physically active to a more, I don't want to say sedentary lifestyle, because I'm not sitting around all day every day, but yeah, it's just I'm not at that intensity that I was prior. Yeah, I did go through a body thing. I kind of was worried that with friendships as well, which was something that I'll go over all the different things, but like fitness obviously was something I appreciated from cheer. Friendship was something I appreciated from cheer. And there was a little, inkling of like, oh no, will I not see my cheer friends as much? Because I know other people that have left the sport and not kept in contact with cheer friends. But that was not the case for me. I think this depends on the individual as well. Obviously, all of this depends on the individual, and everyone's got unique and separate different own experiences. But for me, with my cheer friends, I didn't just see them at cheer. I think that all of my relationships that I have maintained from cheer are also because I maintain those relationships out of cheer. I contact people out of cheer to hang out. I have relationships with them that aren't solely focused on cheer as the main topic. I have common ground with all of my friends outside of cheer, and that's why we're not only cheer friends, we are friends as well. And so, yeah, there are lots of people that I've kept in contact with that I met originally through cheer that are still my friends, that you could consider, I guess, cheer friends, but they're now just my friends. And I didn't feel like I was like losing a bunch of friends as I moved out of cheer. Yes, I see people less frequently from cheer, because when you're actually still competing in the sport, you literally see, I don't know, the 26 people on your team twice a week. It's inevitable that you're going to see them at a higher frequency because there's a guaranteed twice a week hangout when you are in the sport. But I don't think that it is damaging to my relationships to see them less. I think that it's just a new phase of our relationships. And some of my relationships have honestly become closer, even though we were no longer cheering together. I can say that so hand over my heart, definitely true, is like so many of my relationships with friends that I met through cheer, I have become even closer with now that we are both retired, or now that I'm retired and they're still in the sport, or whatever the case is. So I don't think that it negatively impacted my relationships, cheer friendships or non-cheer friendships. My non-cheer friendships obviously benefited because I had more time for them. With routine, I guess routine changed. So my life has just changed in terms of what I'm spending my time on is different goals, hobbies, and I'm pouring my energy into different things. So I don't feel like it's been detrimental to my routine. I also would like to add on that though, that like, because I am a rotating roster nurse, my routine is ridiculous anyway. There is no 2 weeks that look the same for me, because the roster changes every week, and I do different things every week in terms of my time zone and my schedule. Currently, I'm staying up after doing night shifts so that tomorrow morning I can work a morning shift. And so this is like a real challenge for me right now, because I'd love to be asleep at this very moment. I'm actually exhausted, if you can probably tell by my rambling and like my repetitiveness in this. I'm kind of being a bit overcritical, but like it's true. I am repeating myself a bit, but it's because I'm trying to stay awake so that I can sleep at nighttime, so that tomorrow I can wake up for a morning shift in the daytime like a normal person. Fingers crossed it all works out. But like, for me, routine just looks different. So she wasn't going to fit into my new lifestyle, and my current routines just wouldn't have facilitated a team sport like that. What else do I want to talk about with cheer? I don't know, I still feel like I have senses of adventure and growth. They're just in different areas of my life. So I don't feel like life after cheer has been bad to me at all, actually. But it's also what you make it. Life after cheer is your life, and so it's your choice of like, if you stay in contact with those people after cheer, if you do physical activity after cheer, if you go to therapy after cheer to talk about your struggles and experiences after such a high intensity sport. You know, these are just my experiences, and it's been positive for me, but it wasn't easy. I will say that, like, you know, there were struggles. I have had moments where I've been like, oh my gosh, do I join a team again? Do I go back into another season? There have been moments where I've been like, oh my goodness, I think I don't like the way that my body is changing. But I've come to terms with all of these things in time. And I guess this is also why I haven't made this video sooner, immediately after quitting cheer or something like that, because I wasn't sure at that time. And now I have a more distanced relationship from the sport, but I can still look at the sport very fondly. I'm still in contact with the sport and involved in some ways, but also from a distance now that I feel like is healthy for me and who I am in my current stage of life. I don't know, I don't really feel like I have that much more to say on it. I hope this covered enough vibes of the topic for you. If you enjoyed this video or conversation, you can give it a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe if you'd like to see more podcasts from me that are similar to this. You can follow me everywhere at EmilyTitch20. I'm most commonly popularly posting on Instagram and here on YouTube, so you can follow me on Instagram. I'm also available on other platforms such as Flickr or Visco. You can follow me there as well if you'd like to see more from me, but I'm not as frequently posting on those platforms. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.